one of the first places that I think about when I'm troubleshooting any routing issue is I want some confidence that the command that turns that protocol on for the interfaces is properly set up, properly configured. And for EIGRP and OSPF and RIP, that command is the network command. Now, the network command has changed a little bit over the years for EIGRP in that it has also been built out to include support for the wildcard mask. And when you think about the wildcard mask, you have to think, okay, that is the range operator. If you want to see what IP addresses are enabled by the network command, the interface IP address is the start of the range. Take the sum of the interface IP address and the wildcard mask, add them together to get the ending of the range. So if you see a wildcard mask of all zeros, the range is inclusive of only one IP address. But if you see something that would maybe be a little bit more challenging, like a 0.0.0.31, let's say we are looking at an interface, and let's say this is my subnet in question. And this is actually my network statement. Network. And my wildcard mask is .31. This would be hard to read for most people. But what you can do is you can just say that's a range that is 32 through 63. How did I get that? Well, I got that because the end of the range is just the wildcard mask added to the supplied interface IP address. And so therefore we have to think now that tells me what I'll open up for running EIGRP. Which interfaces local on the chassis are within that range. Then I get whatever subnet is on those. Okay, so this is not saying I want to advertise the network with what is that, 5 bits. So that would be a /27 mask. That's not saying advertise with a /27 mask. This has no bearing on the subnet ID and mask that is advertised. It is just saying, are we running it on the interface? Okay. Now, if we want to be confident in our network commands, we do a show IP protocols. Show IP protocols tells us the network commands that we have enabled right there. The running config will also show that. And the /16 is an indication that a wildcard mask of 0.0.255.255 is enabled. I happen to know that because I've configured this router myself. But let's just do a section EIGRP, and you'll see my mask that I've supplied. Now, if I didn't supply a mask, you have to know how that works. So let's say I'm going to get rid of that network statement. You have to be mindful of the classful nature of the network command for EIGRP and RIP. If you do not put in a wildcard mask, one will be supplied for you. Now, how is that going to look in the running config? I just put in that command. Is that command going to show up in the running config exactly how I have typed? I want you to see this and be surprised. The router has rewritten my network statement because it says I'm going to drop off classless octets. Now this is a class A, and so the classful octet is the first. The classless octets are the second, third, and fourth. So it's going to zero out anything beyond the classful portion. If this were class B, let's say it was 172.16, it would preserve the first 16 bits. If it's class C, it'll preserve the first 24 bits. And so you have to be very cautious about using network commands that do not have wildcard masks. And in the real world, I would expect to see wildcard masks in my configs, even if they're not that far off from the classful operation. Even if the classful operation were satisfactory, I would just put them in. I would just put them in. So knowing how the network command works is important to the foundation config for EIGRP.